facts you might not know. From the biggest flops to the greatest hits, this is Trash Can Tidbits.
Happy New Year, everyone! I'm Beaton, your raccoon with a talk show, ready to present some more fun facts you might not know for Trash Can Tidbits. Last time, I asked the question, true or false? Macy's was highly supportive of the 1994 remake of Miracle on 34th Street and agreed to let the film use their name. The answer is false. While Macy's agreed for the original film, the same cannot be said for the remake. They declined the use of the name, so the department store is renamed to Kohl's, not to be confused with the similarly named Kohl's department store chain. Now with that addressed, let's get started with fact number 1. Did you know that Samus's power suit from the Metroid series was redesigned thanks to the first sequel? Metroid 2 Return of Samus, released for the Game Boy, had a new variant where Samus's power suit was enhanced, the Varia suit, which became a permanent part of the Metroid franchise. But because the Game Boy wasn't in color, there would have been no way to tell the different suits apart. The developers instead chose to display the Varia suit with big rounded shoulder pads. This design became the standard for the Varia suit ever since. Fact 2. Did you know that the protagonist of the video game Perfect Dark was named after a real-life heroine? The game's protagonist, Joanna Dark, took some inspirations from films like the French secret agent thriller La Femme Nikita. Joanna is also a secret agent, as well as Blade Runner for the game's overall futuristic world. But the developers at Rare wanted Joanna to be feminine but also androgynous in appearance, and they looked to real history for guidance. The name Joanna d'Arc is a reference to legendary French warrior Joan of Arc, and her French name is Jeanne d'Arc, which encapsulates the name Joanna d'Arc perfectly. Fact 3 comes from my friend Drohan, now known as Tio Drohan. Did you know that 2 modern fighting games have connections to real-world political and entertainment figures? Mortal Kombat 11 features the Terminator as a guest character who is portrayed by Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was also once the governor of California. In Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, the final character in the roster is Sora from Kingdom Hearts, who is voiced in English by Haley Joel Osment. Haley was nominated for the Best Supporting Actor Oscar in the year 2000 for his star-making role in The Sixth Sense, meaning that Super Smash Bros. Has a character who was portrayed by an Academy Award-nominated actor. Thanks for that fact, Rohan. Fact 4. Did you know that James Bond once fought an actor that has a connection to Dwayne Johnson? In You Only Live Twice, which takes place in Japan, an early scene has Sean Connery's Bond disguising himself as a hitman and stowing away in a car, which is then driven to Osato Industries, a corporation that has ties to the evil organization Spectre. Bond has a fight scene in the building with the imposing driver of the car, which ends with 007 getting the upper hand. This henchman was played by Samoan professional wrestler Peter Maiva, who, in real life, was the maternal grandfather of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So, The Rock has a James Bond connection. When are we going to see him in a Bond movie to come full circle, huh? Fact 5. Did you know that the movies Godzilla vs. Kong and Ghostbusters Afterlife both not only feature an actor from the show Stranger Things, but also involves their characters becoming friends with side characters who have podcasts? Millie Bobby Brown, who plays Eleven on Stranger Things, plays one of the main protagonists, Madison Russell, in Godzilla vs. Kong, who goes with a conspiracy theorist named Bernie, who has a podcast exposing his former employees of hiding the truth, and in the process uncovers Mechagodzilla. In Ghostbusters Afterlife, Finn Wolfhard, who plays Mike Wheeler on Stranger Things, plays Egon Spengler's grandson Trevor, who befriends a kid appropriately named Podcast, who indeed has a podcast about the supernatural. It's revealed at the end of the movie that Podcast's only subscriber is original Ghostbuster Ray Stantz. Fact 6. Did you know that one deleted song from The Wizard of Oz still had a leftover line that was kept in the film? When the Wicked Witch sends her flying monkeys to capture Dorothy, she mentions that she sent a little insect to take the fight out of them. This insect refers to the deleted song, The Jitterbug, which would have been a jazz-inspired dance number involving an animated bug biting the characters and forcing them to dance uncontrollably. There are behind-the-scenes home movies showing Judy Garland and the rest of the cast rehearsing the dance number on set, and the song still survives on the soundtrack. It was never filmed, however, due to time, and that it didn't fit with the more serious, scary tone of the second half of the film. Plus, the song still contains the voice of Buddy Ebsen, the original actor who was cast to play the Tin Man before an allergic reaction to his makeup forced him to quit the role. The Jitterbug has subsequently been inserted into future stage versions of The Wizard of Oz. Fact 7. Did you know that one shot of the Hitchcock classic North by Northwest was stolen? One plot point involves the main character Roger Thornhill, played by Cary Grant, going to the United Nations to hide from his pursuers. Alfred Hitchcock was not allowed to film at the actual UN building, but that didn't stop him in the least. The shot of Cary Grant exiting his cab and going up the steps to enter the building was in fact real. Hitchcock hid a camera in a laundry truck across the street and secretly shot it. Grant actually passes by some real security guards standing on top of the stairs, and if you look closely, a real passerby actually stops, turns around, and looks at him as the actor walks past him. Can you imagine someone like Cary Grant walking past you and you have absolutely no idea you're secretly being filmed for a Hitchcock movie? Yeah, me neither. Fact 8. Did you know that the now iconic kissing scene between Kevin Costner and Whitney Houston in The Bodyguard was not only done in one take, but could technically count as a blooper? Specifically, the final scene where Houston's character says goodbye to Costner's character and she runs out of her airplane for one last kiss while I Will Always Love You plays in the background. The long tracking shot called for the camera to follow Houston running up to Costner, and the camera spins around them while they kiss. The camera was placed on a long dolly track and then seamlessly transfers to a round path to rotate around them repeatedly. However, because the camera was moving so fast, the cameraman actually fell off his stand as the transfer was occurring. Fortunately, the mistake didn't ruin the shot, and he managed to sit back down to complete the scene. Fact 9. Did you know that one tidbit behind the making of the notorious film Cleopatra involved the near death of its main star, Elizabeth Taylor? The film was originally going to be shot at England's famous Pinewood Studios, with actors Peter Finch as Julius Caesar and Stephen Boyd as Mark Antony. Taylor had a history of chronic health problems, and the weather conditions being what they are in England, she frequently got sick, causing delays in filming. Eventually, Taylor became so sick that she came down with a life-threatening case of pneumonia that got so out of hand that an emergency tracheotomy had to be done to save her life. The incident caused the picture to be temporarily shut down while Taylor recovered, and production moved to significantly warmer Italy, where the roles of Caesar and Antony were recast with Rex Harrison and Richard Burton respectively. And for those who know, the legendary Taylor and Burton pairing started with this film, but again, that's a story for another day. Fact 10. Did you know that the original director of the Bond film No Time to Die left the film due to creative differences? Danny Boyle, director of such films as Trainspotting, Sunshine, and the Oscar-winning Slumdog Millionaire, was the original choice to helm the latest Bond film. But he withdrew about 3 months before shooting started because he disagreed with the story. He was replaced by True Detective director Cary Joji Fukunaga, who has a few distinctive firsts for the series. Fukunaga is the first director of Asian descent to direct a Bond film, the first director to have a writing credit on a Bond film, and the first American director to work on the franchise. All other directors have been British or European. Had Boyle stayed on the film, however, it would have been the first time since 2002 that he'd have worked with his 28 Days Later star, Naomi Harris, who plays Moneypenny in the film. And here's today's trivia question. The Nintendo 3DS was truly a wonderful system, wasn't it? You may not know that the technology evolved in part from former Nintendo president Hiroshi Yamauchi, who wanted to use 3D technology not just for games, but for real-life educational purposes as well. Yamauchi founded a Japanese museum called Shiguriden, which utilized Nintendo DS technology to allow guests to interact with various exhibits. Eventually, the museum tech worked its way onto the 3DS, and in particular to one establishment that is a cultural institution known around the world. My question to you is, which famous museum worked with Nintendo to release a cartridge to bring their exhibits to life on the 3DS? And there we go for this episode. I really hope you liked it and that you learned something new and fun. You got any facts you want to share with me for a future episode? Go ahead and leave a comment below. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and ring the bell for future video notifications. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.